Hello, people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is based on self-improvement. If you know the YouTuber Hamza, he's the one who motivated me to create such a place where I can express my real opinions and my real my knowledge, my wisdom onto other people, just like I used to be. These days I'm feeling pretty happy, so if you're feeling pretty down on yourself, and even if you're not, if you're just looking for some conventional wisdom, and I can spread onto you, a 16-year-old, onto whoever you are, you found the right place. My intention is to bring well-meaning knowledge and advice to people who are just like myself, or who are kind of struggling right now, because I used to be in the same position. Today's video is about how drugs made me feel, and how and why I quit. So to begin, I started doing pot back a couple years ago. When I was 14, I had a job at the time. I was still going to school, but after a couple months of going to the gym, I came back to school, and I got a little bit too excited. My friend at the time, he asked me to come hang out, and so we went behind an alley. He pulled us some weed, but I was already kind of desensitized to drugs, so I wasn't really worried about trying it out for the first time when he asked me. So that was the first time that I tried it. And then it kind of snowballed after that. They pull it out, and people are vaping around. You become in with the crowd once you become hip with that kind of stuff. So that's exactly what I did. I became like one with the crowd, one with the stoners, as they call them at school. Drugs made me feel, especially weed itself, it made me feel like a sense of, I don't know, pleasure. Especially while I was at school, when I'd be so stressed out from social anxiety and other things that I had back then. Weed made me feel comfortable. It made me give me a sense of comfort, So yeah, I did drugs. That's why I did drugs, pretty much. It gave me kind of a sense of a goal to accomplish, going to school rather than trying to focus in class, trying to get hide from the teachers. That's pretty much what I did. It kind of sounds stupid, but again, this video is for people who are like me, who've made the same dumb mistakes, and who can learn from it. So, back to it. The culture around drugs in my school is very big. There's probably about half of the school either vape, smoke weed, do drugs, even hard drugs, like harder drugs like mushrooms, magic mushrooms, and all the way down to like grade 8s that are in my high school. So it's not a very good culture for being resistant to that. There's a lot of peer pressure in there. And like I said, once you get stuck in with the crowd, they became my only friends. So quitting doing drugs at that point would mean losing all of my friends, and that I would hang out with, do drugs with, and have a good time with. So I didn't want to lose all my friends and become lonely again, like I was before then, with my social anxiety. My both of my parents, they do drugs, especially my mother. She smokes weed all the time. Um, it doesn't affect her very much, so I thought it wouldn't affect me. It's just something to kind of relax to, give you a sense of calm. But I didn't realize what I would do would snowball and eventually come into the aftermath, which I'll talk about later. Or I'll talk about right now actually. The aftermath. So after a few years of becoming close with a group of stoners, making bad decisions and falling behind in school, um, I finally decided to quit. There was a couple of times where I wanted to quit vaping, um, especially it was really big in my school, but I knew that that vaping would not be a lifetime thing for me. I've heard of horror stories, people getting cancers, and you don't want chemicals in there, right? In your lungs. It's really bad. So I understood that. I had the I guess ability to look at myself in third person and realize that the decisions I'm making were not gonna lead me to like a happy and fulfilling life. So uh, I decided a couple times to quit. I tried to quit vaping a few times. Sometimes it doesn't work. Um, you have to. I was hitting it less. I was in my vape less, and then I'd stop, and then I get cravings again and go back, and so none of that was really working. Um, and um, and when I finally did quit, I I was feeling horrible for about a month after, couple 3 weeks to a month. I couldn't sleep properly. I would not be able to sleep until like 3 a.m. I'd have cold sweats at night, terrible lucid dreams. Um, and then yeah, at that time I was not in a good spot, but I still made it after about a month. All the bad symptoms of withdrawal from the type of drugs that I was doing were going away, and I could go back to a normal, healthy life, um, which is how I'm gonna live for the rest of it. Um, all right, so now let's get into how I actually managed to quit. This the difficult part of quitting is actually having the willpower to not go back, right? So one thing I do, especially when setting goals, is I create a new identity for myself that I want to follow. So with drugs specifically, my identity was I'm a non-smoker. I'm a non drug user. I do not do drugs. So that was the number one thing in my mind. I'm like, so if people were to ask me, "Hey, come on, you smoke. Come on, you want to hit this vape?" I'm like, no, I'm a non-vapor. And that's what I tell them. They're like, come on, come on. It's like I'm a non-vapor. So that's the number one thing. You got to change your identity to being someone who's sober, someone who doesn't do those things, someone who's healthy, or I should say. Um, hmm. Another thing I did was to stop with the terrible night sweats, having a difficult time sleeping. Was I would walk around before I went to bed. Um, and if I couldn't fall asleep in bed for more than about 30 minutes, I would get up and do something else. Uh, this developed, I took some melatonin ZQL to help me sleep. That definitely helped. It still took a couple hours for me to get to sleep because my schedule and brain chemicals are not working properly, melatonin is not being produced in the right way. So I would go to bed at the same time every night to help me get into the routine of coming back. And you really have to push through it because it's a difficult thing. You do get those cravings, and sometimes it's easier to go back to the cravings and quit. Especially if you're doing something harder than weed or the other drugs that I've been doing. So yeah. But number one, you have to create a new identity for yourself, and one that is of a non-smoker, non-drug user, someone who's sober, and you have to stick to it. Stick to your decision. In about less than a month's time, you can go back to normal. You'll still get cravings eventually, but that's the thing. If you really do want to quit, another thing is sometimes you will not quit permanently. A couple times after I officially quit this New Year's, I did come back to it, probably about 3 times. But it wasn't that much. It's the knowledge that even with all your hard work, you can still go back to it. Except you just do not go back to the addictive type, not as a lifestyle. I wanna talk about why you should quit. After I talk about how I quit vaping. So vaping nicotine is definitely very addictive for someone my age in my youth. It definitely messes with your brain chemicals and becomes kind of a main part of your habit, your daily habit. Whenever you're bored or thinking of something to do, you just, right? So, so I thought getting rid of it would help, but I ended up just using other things and getting disposables. So remember step 1, which was to change your identity. Step 2 is to lower your dosage. If it does get addictive, you can lower your dosage. Try to hit it as little as possible throughout the day. Step 3 would be to build in some new habits rather than sitting on your bed, being bored, and then hitting your vape because you're bored. You now have other things to do, like going over to your friend's house. You don't bring the vape, you're there to hang out with your friends, right? Or playing a sport, any hobbies you have, just following your hobbies and filling your schedule with that. Is the number one thing you can do. Not video games, because video games and nicotine goes hand in hand. It's like bread and butter. So if you do play video games, I'll have another video on how I quit another addiction that I used to have, coming later this week. So be ready for that. I think that's all I have to say today. If you found any value in this video, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. I'll be leveling up my skills, and I'll be able to teach you more wisdom, more knowledge in a more clear and concise way over time. So if you would hit that subscribe button, maybe comment, give me some constructive criticism, or even just tell me how much you fucking hate me, because I would appreciate that very much. Thank you for watching, and you have a wonderful day.